So here we have extra practice for your basics quiz, which I will allow you to use to replace a missing grade up to 21 points. That's all I'm willing to do. Or maybe you have an imperfect homework assignment. That's all I'm doing with it. So it's up to you, or don't. Let's see here, we'll just start on the front, and then we'll move to the back side. So I don't like this division of 7, so I 7 both sides. What you do to one side, you must do to the other for equality purposes. And that makes this 3 times 3x minus 4, and 7 times 14 ought to be 98. Ought to be. Distributive property, 9x minus 12 is 98. We're going to add 12 to the other side, 9x is 110. And we're just going to divide through by that 9. And whatever 110 divided by 9 is, that's my answer. If it's simplified, I'd simplify it. Since you guys seem to think you can only move left, and I need to show a rule anyways, let's move this 9x over here. Let's move that over there. So negative 12 plus 8 is negative 4, and 2x minus 9x is negative 7x. Now, when you divide by a negative, inequalities flip. X is not greater, x is less than 4/7 because a negative over negative is positive. I would probably have this on your quiz written as an interval. Think about your number line. 4/7 would be about right here, and you would be working left all the way to infinity, negative infinity. So the interval would be negative infinity to 4/7. That's how it would probably be answered if it was multiple choice. 3 is a simple absolute value equation. You just got to write your two equations. 2/5 x minus 5 is 8, or, and what most kids forget, doesn't matter how many times you tell them, negative 2/5 x plus 5 is 8. We change the signs. Both of them, what I would do, but what do I know, is I'd counteract that subtraction and addition. 8 plus 5 is 13. And 8 minus 5 is 3. And they kind of have the same pattern here. You 5 both sides. Here I'm going to negative 5 it to take care of that negativity. 5's cancel. 2x is 65. So x is 65 halves, whatever that is. Nobody cares. That's the fraction. Over here, the negatives cancel out. And that's supposed to be a negative 5. So 2x is now negative 15. So x is negative 15 halves. Two answers. Another absolute value equation. This one's easier than the last one because it doesn't have any fractions. But we still do the same thing. We write two equations. 6x minus 4 is 10 minus 3x. Or negative 6x plus 4 is 10 minus 3x. First one as is, second one change signs. That's all you do. X is on one side. That'd be 6x plus 3x, which is 9x. 10 plus 4, which is 14. So x is 14 ninths. Or do the same technique over here. Negative 6x plus 3x is negative 3x. And 10 minus 4 is 6. And divide by my negative 3, and I get a negative 2. It's like I had two different answers. Something probably only 20-25% of the junior population can do in the entire state would be something like this. And that's really sad that that's what it is. This is a solve for x equation. So all x is on one side and everything else on the other. 9x plus 7xy, because equality was jumped, equals 4 minus 3y. Both terms on the left possess an x. X times 9 plus 7y is now 4 minus 3y. The understood symbol between that x and that leading opener is a multiplication. And the opposite of multiplication always will be division. It will not wake up one day and decide that it wants to be addition. It will always be multiplication. Math is absolute. There's actually a push that maybe math shouldn't be absolute. Maybe 2 plus 2 should be 5 because it wants to be 5. I've seen stupid stuff like that in this world. All right, distributive property. 2x times 4x is 8x squared. 2x times 6 is plus 12x. I'd say 1 in 10 of you juniors are missing that. Ouch. Where you been? Double distributed property in 7. First, we x both terms. We x and x, we get an x squared. If we x a negative 7, we get minus 7x. Moving on to that 4, because now we 4 both terms. Plus 4x minus 28. We combine our likes. X squared minus 3x minus 28. Final answer. Moving on down to number 8, still the double distributed property. 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 2x times 2 plus 4x. Inside now minus 25x, and then outside minus 10. Clean up like terms. 10x to the second looks like minus 21x minus a 10. Plugging in a number. You're supposed to find f of negative 1. That means that x is going to be a negative 1, so 4 times a negative 1, all squared, minus a 7. If you take a negative 1 and square it, you get 1. And 4 times 1 is 4, take away 7, you're sitting pretty at negative 3. Number 11's slope. Formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug in and go. 9 take away a 6 would be in my numerator. The denominator would be 5 take away a negative 2. 9 take away 6 is 3. 5 take away 2 is 7. 3 sevens. Number 12 is average rate of change. Your formula for average rate of change is f of b minus f of a, sitting pretty over b minus a. Where do you get a and b from? Right there. For the 50th time that I've instructed that with you so far this year, right there. So I find f of b by plugging in a 3. It would be a negative 3 squared minus a 4. A 3 squared is 9. The negative symbol up front makes it negative. Negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13. Now I find f of a by plugging in a negative 4. Now if you square a negative, you get a positive, but there's a negative symbol out front. So you're actually looking at a negative 16 minus 4, which is a negative 20. Now I have the pieces I need. F of b was negative 13. I'm taking away a negative 20, and I'm sitting pretty over 3 minus a negative 4. This, oddly enough, comes out to be a whole number. It's kind of a surprise because it's quadratic, but it is what it is. Negative 13 plus 20 is 7, and 3 take away negative 4 is also 7. It's 1. The ACT stuff. A line is drawn on the xy axis such that it passes through the origin. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And the point, negative 5, 12. This goes back 5 units and up 12. And the last one I did, I'd probably showed this a little bit different, but it just makes sense to triangle things out. You go back 5 and you go up 12. And we actually call this theta prime. Theta is actually this piece. But this is theta prime. And what are we asked to do? Find the tangent ratio? Well, tangent from SOHCAHTOA is that piece right there. The tangent of something, in this case theta, is opposite over adjacent. So opposite of theta is a 12, adjacent is a negative 5. And some of you kids just don't get math. You don't leave negatives in the denominator. You move them to the top or the front. That's where they belong. It's called formal mathematics. Write two equations. I'll do this one a little bit different than I did in the last one. This 3 should be moved over first. I mean, that's the way I usually do things. I don't know why I did in the last one. And now you get to write your two equations. You have 5x minus 12 is 7. Or, we change the signs, negative 5x plus 12 is 7. So there's your two equations. And that's the front. Let me break this video up into 2 parts. Though it's not so long,